Hello, good afternoon.
Hey Gilbert, how are you?
I'm very fine.
Uh, it's nice to have you on this podcast.
It's
And
my pleasure to be here.
yeah, more of an interview than a podcast, really. But yeah,
Yes.
you're actually the second Kenyan guy, the third African on the interview. So yeah.
Wow, nice.
Mm. So let me do your bio, and then for people to get to know what you do, and then we'll go to the questions.
All right.
Cool. Gilbert Kimari is a marketer by profession, but a trader by passion and has been trading in Forex for the past 11 years. He likes tech, African history, and astronomy. He believes success in any field is founded on knowledge, patience to craft your skills, and a brave heart to overcome any challenges along the way. Currently, he is the head of training at Nairobi School of Forex, where he teaches and mentors students to trade in Forex, stock indices, and commodities. It is the premier institution to get started on forex trading journey in Kenya. That is Nairobi School of Forex. He is passionate about the school and what is done here. And also, this interview is in collaboration with Nairobi School of Forex. So it's a pleasure to have STL, you know, have you, Gilbert.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell us for the 11 years that you've been trading, like what got you started into Forex and
Yes.
also how you found your way into Nairobi School of Forex.
Yes. So I think I will begin. First of all, again, thank you for having me in your podcast. And for me, my journey began when I was in college. So this is a story I tell a lot of people each time when we meet and they ask me, how did I get started in forex trading? So I started out in college in around mid 2007. At that time, what I was doing, I was looking for just a way that I could be able to make money. Being in college or in campus at that time, you're usually broke and you're always just trying to find a way to start a business that can at least be able to bring in some revenues. So as I was just trying out different businesses, I even got into MLM, that's multi-level marketing. I did GNLD at that time. And I just realized that, salesmanship was was quite tough. It was tougher than I had expected. So I just started looking at the newspapers, just trying to see maybe what I could be able to do, maybe if I could get some ideas. And I came across the financial section where it is to show the stock market, there's to just record what's been happening in the stock market and also what's been happening in the currencies. So I generated an interest for currencies and I could see that there was some mispricing between the different forex bureaus. So that's how I started out with forex. I first of all started out doing a currency arbitrage, that is moving from one forex bureau to another, just looking for mispricings, and I would be able to make like about a shilling off of every dollar. So if I transacted about $100, I would be able to get 100 shillings. And that's what got me interested in the Forex market. Then, of course, from there, um, I tried to find a way to connect to these Forex bureaus online. And in my research and in that journey, trying to find a way that I could do what I was doing online, that's how I came across online Forex trading. And I realized that it was much bigger, the opportunities were greater. And from there, that's basically how I started in online Forex trading. So that was up until 2008 is when I officially opened my live account and I even started trading.
Okay, so it took you less than 1 year to do your research and move from, to have the confidence to open a live account. Did you have like any mentor along the way, or you just started by yourself, you know?
I did have a mentor. Actually, for me, what I did is that I reached out. There was a company back in the day that used to do online forex trading, and they also used to train people. It was called Genius Forex. So I reached out to them initially as an internship because I just wanted to learn basically that world. I just wanted to know all about the online forex trading world. So they gave me basic knowledge in forex trading. Then from there, the rest of the journey, was now mine, self-learning, reaching out to other trainers, other traders out there who could also be able to guide me. 2008 was, as you know, that was the year of the financial crisis. So towards the end of the year, I lost the money that I had and had been able to accumulate. So I almost gave up actually towards the end of 2008. I remember I was quite stressed out. I well, I can't really say that I went into depression, but I was almost on my way to into depression. And I reached out to a trader who was trading a floor above me in the building that we were located. And during that market crisis, he had actually made quite a substantial amount of money. Yeah, he was actually buying a Benz, an E-Class Benz, out of the proceeds of his trading. So I reached out to him and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Because clearly there's something that you did right and I did wrong. So 2009, that's when now he started mentoring me. And towards the end of 2009, I've already gotten my foot back into forex trading. I was now becoming more successful. I was able to trade, not trade all the way back to where I was in 2008, but at least I would say 2009, I now began in the right, I began doing things in the right way. Because in 2008 was more of trial and error, um, ignoring a lot of things, especially fundamentals. That was macroeconomics. I ignored that a lot. So from 2009, I took things seriously, and that's when now I started being profitable. So towards the end of 2009, up to date, I've still maintained that profitability.
Okay, and from the lessons, I want to go back to your earlier learning days
Yeah.
when you were, before you blew your first account, after after the crisis. So
Yes.
what lessons did you take from that, and what would you
Yes.
say what did you change in your strategy that made you come 2009, now 2 years down the line, start to see some profitability?
Yes. In 2008, I was using a quantitative model. And that just meant that so long as the variables remained roughly the same, then I was profitable. But the moment the variables changed, then definitely my profitability would change, and I would end up incurring massive drawdowns. So that is something that I hadn't worked out. I hadn't ever encountered such a situation. So definitely the market crash opened up my eyes. It also made me prioritize relearning because, as you know, you just don't just learn once and then you're through with it. You have to keep on learning. You also have to also relearn some things that you've forgotten or some things that you had put aside, and also other things you've also got to unlearn. So it's a colleague of mine who likes saying that in life you've got to learn, relearn, and unlearn. So in 2009, I realized that I had to pay attention to macroeconomics. Fundamentals is basically what drives the market. So I could not ignore that, and I had ignored it before. And I also just needed that confidence, that motivation. And I was able to get it from my fellow trader who, of course, had made some money in 2008. So I was able to just give me that boost in confidence that I needed to go back into the market and be able to find my way through it and be able to trade profitably.
Okay, and so it's you were lucky to actually have someone to guide you and restore back your confidence into
Yeah.
trading. So I'm just curious, right now, your strategy, sort of what you have been using, is
Yes.
it a hybrid of fundamentals and technical analysis, or did you find your way back strictly to quantitative analysis, or is it like a blend of the two?
What it is, it's a blend of the two, but it's mostly technical. It's mostly technical analysis, but I always base my decisions off of the fundamentals. So I always have to know what's going on in the market even before I decide to make a trade. And for me, I just realized that fundamentals affect the market a lot. Um, as much as price patterns can pretty much be able to tell you what's going to happen later on, I still prioritize fundamental analysis since that day. And it is actually because I prioritized fundamental analysis that I was able to make a good amount of money during the European crisis, which occurred about 2 years later. So that was in 2010, 2011. I was able to see that unfold. And in this case, I was able to make money during that period and not lose it like I did in 2008. So it's a hybrid, but it's mostly technical, but definitely there's that element of fundamental analysis behind it.
Okay, and now fast forward to your current role at the institution that you work for,
Yes.
and like how did you find your way to the school, and
Yes.
also get to interact and have colleagues like Eugene, whom I've interviewed in the past, and
Yes.
Sila, and respected traders locally? Like, how did that come about?
Yes. So from 2009, as I continued trading, of course, people started reaching out to me for trainings. So I started training. Um, I started out at Genius, where I'd previously been mentored and trained. So I started doing my trainings there. Then later on, I branched into just freelance trainings. So as I just continued in my freelance training over the years, in 2016, I met Sila of Meta Capital through a mutual friend of ours who's also a trader. And once I met Sila at Meta Capital, I saw what they were doing, and I saw that this could be maybe the institution that I would want to work with in 2016. So we came together in 2016, set up a school. At that time, it was called Meta Capital Forex Trading Institute. It was such a lengthy name. And 2017, I came across Eugene as well, who was also running his own school. So what happened is that Meta Capital Forex Trading Institute and Eugene School, that was GeneFX, they came together, and then that's how we came up with Nairobi School of Forex. So we had operated under just Meta Capital Forex Trading Institute and GeneFX, and then later on it merged into Nairobi School of Forex. So Nairobi School of Forex as a brand name is about 2 years old, because that was later in 2017, early 2018. So that is basically
Okay,
like the history of
and
School of Forex.
nice, nice. And what, like, let's briefly now talk about the training that normally happens at the school.
Yes.
Uh, what what can you say is unique about your training modules that, the
Yes.
students who have given testimonials on the education that they receive, that make those tutorials have an edge in the local market?
Yes. I would say based off of those years that I've been a Forex trader, and also about 10 or so years of training, um, we realized that the training has got to be systematic. And it's not just myself, together with Sila and Eugene, we have combined experience of over 30 years. So based off of our time and our experience in the market, we decided to craft a course that was very systematic. And that meant that You could come into our class as a newbie, probably thinking that Forex trading is running a Forex bureau, because we've had people who've come with that kind of mentality. Maybe they're coming to learn how to start a Forex bureau. So you can imagine coming in with that kind of a mentality, or that kind of an idea of Forex trading, and taking you through each and every stage, such that by the end of it, our students are confident about what they're doing. They've fully understood what the market is. They've understood its relationship to the other financial markets, that is the stock market, commodities market, and the bond market. And at least they know how to navigate in between those markets. So our course, it's not just for Forex trading. We also do delve into these other markets, mostly the stock indices, which do give, I would say that they're more volatile. So for those traders who are looking for more volatility, but still at a good spread, then stock indices are good for them. Also commodities like oil and gold. So by the end of the training, they don't just trade Forex, they're also able to trade stock indices and commodities. And we've seen some students actually just specialize in commodities. I have some students who are gold traders. I have some students who are oil traders and natural gas traders. I have some students who trade stock indices like the DAX, the Italian stock index. So just being able to give them that overview and give them the skills to be able to navigate from one market to another, and then find the market that best suits them. So that's what I would say is unique with our training, is that by the end of it, we're able to see our students be able to think for themselves, and also the kind of gratitude that they have towards us as trainers, just telling us that, we did a good job. That also motivates us, and it also gives us confidence in what we are doing as a school.
All right. That's good to hear that, the training is also centered on other financial assets, not just currencies.
Yes.
So what, in your opinion, over
Yes.
the years that you've been training, what would you say makes a good student of the financial markets? Is it by their ability to, there's some people who think that they have to be good at math or have some background in finance. Is that the case, or is it that anyone who comes with the intention to learn can become a trader?
Yes, I think there's that misconception that you need to be very good in math in order for you to make it in trading, and I guess that's just because it falls under the bracket of finance. And for you to do finance, of course, it means that you need to have that ability to do calculations of it. But that's not the case when it comes to forex trading. Reason being is we have tools that do those calculations for you. So you don't really need to be able to do quick calculations at the back of your mind. But what makes a good student is you just have to be sharp. Of course, you can't be someone who's lazy. You need to be someone who's very proactive. You need to be someone who thinks for themselves. I like giving this example of the hiring criteria when it comes to some of these government agencies like the CIA, Mossad. The kind of people that they look for are people who are self-motivated, people who can think for themselves, because you need to be able to make decisions on the go. You need to be able to make quick decisions, assess a situation, and then be able to come up with a good decision. And I would say that that is basically what it takes to make a good trader, is that you need to be self-motivated. That means you need to be able to look for that motivation. If you're not motivated, then you need to reach out to people who can be able to guide you and who can be able to boost who can be able to boost your motivation. You need to have a desire to succeed. Definitely, the forex market is not for the faint of hearted. You really need to have that desire to succeed, and you need to be persistent. So, what makes a good trader? I can say someone who thinks for themselves, someone who is self-motivated and proactive, and someone with a desire to succeed in anything that they do. more so in forex trading.
Okay, and over the time that you've been teaching, of course, you've interacted with different kinds of students in terms of their personalities. What's the place for that in trading and in finding their own path to their own trading?
I would say that personalities play a huge role in trading, because trading is all about mindset. It's all about your mindset. You can have a very good strategy, a good plan, but your ability to implement that plan is what matters most. There are some people who don't have such good strategies, but the ability to implement whatever it is that they have gives them that edge in the market. So trading personality is very important. And that also ties into what I mentioned earlier, that you need to be self-motivated and to have that desire to succeed in business. There are those personality types that naturally have those character traits of being self-motivated and that desire to succeed. And it also plays out in the kind of strategies that students will derive for themselves. You'll find that someone who's very aggressive, so that type A personality, they're very, very aggressive and think very highly of themselves. You find that they're more likely to get into high risk trading or scalping strategies. So that means when such kind of a person is introduced to maybe long-term strategies, they may not be able to implement them successfully. But when they're introduced to short-term strategies, maybe intraday trading, you'll find that they will be able to make something out of that. Same thing goes to people who are very passive. So at the end of that spectrum, so you have type A personalities, then you have the ones who are very, very passive and very fearful. So if you have that type of personality trait, you're more likely to do low risk investing. You're more likely to do medium to long term trading. The reason being you don't like the ups and downs on a daily basis. You just like to see the long term view of the market. So yes, personality types does play a huge role in the kind of strategies that students would be able to derive. So what we do at Nairobi School of Forex, we try as much as possible to guide our students to derive their own strategies. Reason being is my strategy may not work for others. It may work for some, it may not work for others. It'll work for those who have a similar personality to me, but for those who do not have a similar personality as I do, then my kind of strategy may not. So our students having that ability to develop strategies based off of their own personalities. So they build a strategy on top of their personality. They don't try to fit their personality into a strategy. So by doing that, at least they're able to find their way. They're able to see what works for them. And if something doesn't work for them, at least they know why it doesn't work for them. So they can drop it, then adopt something that works for them.
And I like that about the markets because there can be so many strategies. It's just a matter of understanding yourself and finding that which works for you.
Yes.
And congratulations to the school for enabling the students to actually craft their own strategy. So, like, for how long does it take for the students who are on board once they start the sessions, all the way
Yes.
to the end, to comfortably, be able to place a trade by themselves?
We would say that based off of our training, because like I had mentioned, it's systematic. So we begin with the theory part, and then we go to a mixed practical and theory. As we implement the theory, whatever it is that we're learning, we implement it practically. So it takes about a month for students now to start gaining that confidence in what they're doing. But by the end of the training, because it's a 2-month training, so by the time we get to around week 6, week 7 of the training, you find that most of the students have been able to create their own strategies. So that is like the strategies that they will begin with. Then as they continue to trade, as they continue to back test those strategies, they're able to fine tune them. such that by about a month after they finished their training, we do find that they're now opening live accounts, and based off of our guidance, that they open a small live account just so that they can now be able to fully understand risk management, which is something that is a bit difficult to understand when you're using the demo account, because in demo accounts, people are still trying to push the limits. But by the third month of their journey, we find that they're now starting to understand that aspect of risk management. They already have a working strategy. They actually submit their working strategy towards the end of the training. We are able to assess the nature of the strategy. We're able to see the kind of trades that they've been making on their demo account. Then from there, we can be able to guide them. For those ones who haven't fully grasped, especially risk management, just from the demo trading perspective, at least we're able to assist them and guide them so that by the time they open a live account, they don't end up losing that money. And the purpose of our training is just to ensure that our traders, our students, as they become traders, they don't end up learning the hard way like we did back then. Because back then there was very little information, there were very few people who could be able to assist you. But nowadays, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of guidance that you can get. So you're not supposed to begin your journey the same way we did about 10 years ago. So towards the end of the training, they're already confident about their strategies. They're already confident about the risk management from the demo trading perspective. Then on the third month, that's when now they fully realized what proper risk management is all about. So by that time, now they're ready to continue either trading both demo and live account up until they're confident to now carry on with live trading.
Okay, and I understand the school also has other benefits as well in addition to the hands-on training. You can tell us more about the mentorship and also the automated strategies as we wind up.
Yes, part of our curriculum is we also look at quantitative analysis, which is more to do with automated strategies. And it's important because the industry is moving more towards automated trading. Actually, right now they say that it's 80% automated, the kind of strategies that we see out there in the market. And because of this, then it's good for our students to know about the benefits of automated trading, also for them to know the risks that are there, because there are a lot of automated systems that are being sold or being given for free. And our students need to know how to test them out, how to test those robots at no cost to themselves, be able to test them out, see which ones work, which ones don't work, see the profitability and the risk in those systems before they decide to implement them on their live accounts. And as part of that program, the automated trading program, we also have our own in-house robots that we've created under Nairobi School of Forex. And we give them out to our students. We show them how to test those automated systems to find the profitability in those systems, because you can have a basic robot, but then it's your ability to be able to test it out, tweak the settings so that it can be able to give you the kind of returns that you're looking for, because not everyone would be comfortable with the same returns. So if you're not comfortable with those returns, then you can be able to tweak it. You can be able to test it out in different markets, different time frames, just so that you can be able to see the kind of profitability that makes sense to you. And these robots come at no cost to our students. As we develop the robots, we put them onto the student portal, and our students are able to download those robots, test them out, see the profitability, and if they want to implement them onto their live accounts, they're free to do so at no cost.
Okay, the nature of trading, like the way people used to trade in the 80s, the markets are the same, but the trading keeps changing. So
Yes.
I think that is a good thing to adopt the trends in the markets. And
Yes.
also in line with that, I remember there was a seminar we had done, and a woman once mentioned that she had bought an EA, and by week 2 she had lost all her money. So the fact that you train the students on identifying how the systems and those robots work and be able
Yes.
to apply them in the trading, I think that is a very good thing about the school. um, so yeah, I find value in your kind of training modules. And what would you tell someone, like, looking back, uh, even for a person who might say that they will go online and do their own research, what
Yes.
would you tell them about the value of training when it comes to trading? And your last words to anyone who would be willing to learn how to trade.
All right. I would say that why training is important. It's kind of like why you need a guide, even if you have a map. Like people who are going out on safaris or whatever it is, maybe even tourists, you may have the map of that city, knowing exactly where all the coffee shops are, knowing exactly where the 4-star, 5-star restaurants are, knowing where the hotels are. But you need someone who has an understanding of that region or that area to be able to take you to the places that you wouldn't get on a map, or to be able to show you things that you cannot be able to see on a map. And that's why I would think training is quite important, because when you have someone who's already been through that journey, taking you through that journey, there are certain things that they will show you that you would not be able to get from just reading online, from online books or from online material. I started out with Baby Pips back in the day, so that's how old Baby Pips is, right? It's even older than 11 years old. Um, so Baby Pips was back there in 2007, and I remember going through it. But there were quite a lot of things that I was not being able to grasp because there was information overload. You find there's so many things that look like they can work, but when you go to the markets, when you go to the charts, you realize things are not how they seemed on paper. So just having that person to guide you through it, tell you or show you what works and what doesn't work, or what to prioritize, what not to prioritize, that does shorten the time that you'll take in being a profitable trader. Most traders who start out in Forex end up quitting before the end of their first year. And the reason for this is because of those challenges, not knowing what works, what doesn't work, taking too much time testing and failing, testing and failing. But when you have someone who can easily guide you through that process, and also show you the kind of things that would work for you or wouldn't work for you, because as a trainer, I've become a pretty good psychologist, being able to tell the personality traits of my students, so being able to guide them individually, like what might work for one student may not work for another, and just being able to guide them through that. And also knowing the ones who need a lot of motivation, the other ones who are self-motivated. They don't even need me to boost them, but they're those ones who constantly need to be spoken to, constantly need to be motivated, just so that they can get the right foot in the market. So I would say training, there's a lot that goes into training. It's not just the material, it's not just videos, it's not just strategies. It's just that helping hand to guide you through those difficult times that every trader goes through in their journey in Forex. So that's what I would say, that with our mentorship, we have that lifetime mentorship. So we've had students that we trained back in the day, even before we came together as Nairobi School of Forex, because we've all trained, myself, Sila, and Eugene, we've all trained um, people in the past, not under the umbrella of those companies. And there are still people that reach out to us to this day. And it's quite good, or it feels very good when someone that you trained back in the day comes back and gives you even a strategy, because they've gone through that process, they've traded profitably, they've been able to derive their own strategies, they come and they show you what they're doing. And, that is, that really, really boosts our confidence as trainers when you see a student coming back and actually teaching the teacher. And that is the basis of teaching, is just to ensure that the people that you teach end up becoming better than you. They're able to go further than the limits that maybe have been set. Maybe for myself, maybe I've set some kind of limit, but when I train someone who's able to go beyond those limits, I feel good, I feel confident, and I share in that success of that student. So with the mentorship program that we have, our doors are always open. Students come back either just to learn something that maybe they didn't get when they're in class, or maybe they didn't prioritize so much when they're in class. They come, they relearn it, they go out into the market, and they become successful traders. Others come back and give us more value, right? They come back with some information that helps us also craft that information into our training. So just having that community of traders, people that we've trained, coming back and contributing to the school, that also helps us grow. It also helps us be confident in what we're doing. So that's what I would say with our training. I would really advise people who are coming into forex trading, just take that time to learn. Just take that time to have an education. There is no career in this world that you will just start because you read a book somewhere. There is no career, there is no business that you'll just start because you read a book. You know, you must at least have that educational background if you want to be successful. And then from there, be proactive by reaching out to people who are in that industry, can be able to tell you things about that industry that you're not going to find online. And at least with that, it'll make you a better trader.
All right. Thank you so much for your valuable insights. And I also want to say that, it's a pleasure to be joining the institution in some capacity, and, widening the community of traders in Nairobi, and, by actively, doing seminars and all of that. So I am glad that we got to do this, and yeah, it will be nice to have you in future if we have more interviews and
More
that's all.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, and we appreciate the effort that you take in STL doing these interviews, just so that people out there can get to see and hear from people who've been in the industry, um, just about forex, their journey, and this acts as a motivation for some of those people who probably are going through a tough time in the market. Then when they listen to the traders who've come onto your podcast, and they listen and they hear their journey, and they see that they went through the same challenges and they were able to overcome those challenges. So I do appreciate what you do with STL, and it's our pleasure to also work with you under Nairobi School of Forex, just so that we can continue educating the public, because that's basically the goal. The goal is just to educate people so that they can have the right foundation. So thank you so much, Sylvia.
Yeah. Thank you too. So in conclusion, if anyone is willing to learn using your institution, they can come to the Westlands office, and I'll put a link down to the website details on the show notes.
Yes, and we'll be happy to assist them.
All right. Thank you so much. Cheers, Gilbert. Bye.
All right. Bye, Sylvia. Thank you.